Hello, everyone. My name is Eugene Kawamoto. I'm the Director of Product Management for Amazon Redshift. So first of all, welcome to this presentation. And today we will be talking about what's new with Amazon Redshift. So Redshift is our cloud data warehouse that provides the best price performance at any scale for your workloads. It's a purpose-built analytics service that is built for the cloud. Redshift can query and combine up to exabytes of structured and semi-structured data across your data warehouse, data lake, and various purpose-built data stores from a single interface. In this session, we'll be talking about what we see in the analytics market and how our analytics services are doing to address various new emerging trends. Then we'll dive deep into Redshift's investment areas and talk about some of the key innovations and new features we launched over the past 3 to 6 months. So let's first talk about some of the emerging trends we are seeing right now. Over the past year, we've learned a lot during the pandemic. Agility has mattered more than ever before. We've seen customers in the travel and hospitality industry needing to scale down due to the decrease in demand. And as vaccinations started to pick up and demand increased, they had to quickly scale up. We've seen new demand in areas such as video conferencing and healthcare. In particular, in healthcare, we've seen 2 good examples where customers had to scale up quickly. Vira Medical's a medical device manufacturer that saw demand for ventilators soaring during the pandemic. Their order volume suddenly increased by a factor of 20x, including an order from the US government for more than 20,000 ventilators. They were producing 30 ventilators per week that went to more than 600 per day. And data was a key enabler to make sure they can analyze and track their business, as every product had to meet tight regulations. They've used Redshift to quickly scale and build a data warehouse in the cloud. This has enabled them to keep up with the 20x demand and also reduce the first pass ventilator failure rates by as much as 60%. And this has provided centralized data visibility to over 500 stakeholders. Moderna, a front runner of the vaccine development, invented proprietary technologies and methods that run on AWS to create mRNA constructs that cells recognize as if they were produced in the body. Moderna runs its drug design studio on AWS. In particular, Amazon Redshift is used for simple, cost-effective data warehousing to avoid silos and establish a single source of truth for company data. By using Redshift as a central repository, the company can capture all of its data at once. This requires little manual efforts and gives access to data for the scientists to make better decisions. So we're really super excited to support all these customers that are helping out people throughout the world in this difficult situation. So let's step back a bit and take a look at the overall trend and what we are seeing right now. Over the past several years, we've also seen constant trends where customers are seeing their data volumes grow exponentially. Customers with gigabytes of data are now in the terabytes range, and customers that were in the terabytes are growing to petabytes, and even in some cases, exabytes of data. Data sets are coming from various different sources, from relational databases to non-relational, and we also see various IoT sensors and devices that are generating more and more data. Data is also not just structured data, but in many cases, semi-structured or even unstructured data. And more customers are doing analytics, and we see various personas leveraging data, such as data warehouse admins, analysts, data engineers, and data scientists. And finally, the diversity of analytics use cases and applications to support it is increasing. Over the last number of years, as customers have accumulated more data, a lot of that data lives in different silos. And it's really hard to do analytics when your data is stuck in various different data stores. So customers are looking for a highly available, secure, and flexible data store where you can store all your data at once. In other words, they're looking for a data lake that can handle extremely large sets of data, that can work with both structured and unstructured data using open data formats of their choice. But customers need more than this. They need to be able to run multiple analytics services against this data in order to ensure they have the right tools for the job. They need to be able to move data between the lake and these services and vice versa. And furthermore, they're looking to move data across these different analytics stores. They also need to have unified governance across their data and a service to simplify, secure, and manage and monitor access to their data. Finally, they need a service that gives them low cost without compromising performance or scale. Due to these requests, customers are moving to what we call the Lakehouse architecture. It all starts with Amazon S3, a service with 11 nines of durability and an object store with a simple web service interface that you can use to store and retrieve any amount of data. Customers have been building data lakes on S3 longer than any cloud provider, and today more data lakes run on AWS than anywhere else. In addition, customers are running a combination of our purpose-built database and analytics services like EMR, Elasticsearch, and Redshift to ensure they're using the right tool for the job to get performance and scale. To move data between these systems, they use AWS Glue, our serverless data integration service. And finally, customers use LakeFormation to manage the security and governance of all their data, regardless of whether it sits in the lake or purpose-built stores. Amazon Redshift has been built on this Lakehouse architecture. Our Lakehouse architecture has enabled customers to continuously use Redshift as your primary data store, but combine data with other data stores without leaving your data warehouse. This reduces the need to build additional ETL pipelines that may take days or even weeks. Using Redshift Spectrum, customers can query data from the S3 data lake in common open file formats such as Parquet, JSON, and ORC, and we've announced support for Hoodie files as well. Redshift Spectrum also integrates with AWS LakeFormation, so you can provide fine-grained access control to govern your data together with other analytics services. You can upload and unload your data into the S3 data lake using the export command in the Apache Parquet format. And this data can be now analyzed using other popular analytics data services such as Amazon EMR, Athena, as well as machine learning services such as SageMaker. For customers that want to access data in operational databases, we have federated queries. You can integrate queries on live data in RDS PostgreSQL and Aura PostgreSQL. And for customers that want to constantly synchronize the data between a source and target database, we've also announced the preview of Glue Elastic Views. This enables customers to simply create a materialized view within Redshift where data is constantly synchronized from a source database such as DynamoDB. We've also introduced Redshift ML, where I'll talk further in a moment. Accessing all your data can be enabled through a common SQL interface using JDBC ODBC drivers, connecting with your choice of BI and analytics tools. So we've had tens of thousands of customers leveraging this Lakehouse architecture. NTT Docomo is a great example. A big and largest telco in Japan has moved over 10 petabytes of uncompressed data from an on-prem data warehouse to modernize their architecture with a Lakehouse approach. And their analytical queries are now 10 times faster using Amazon Redshift. In addition, having an enterprise-grade service that meets all their security requirements, including running Redshift in their own VPC, was key to adopting to Redshift. Fox is taking advantage of the latest RA3 nodes to enable compute and storage separation and leverage Amazon S3 as their primary data lake to build a Lakehouse architecture. Yelp has been seeing exponential growth in their data value with extremely large traffic volumes. Due to this growth, they're leveraging features such as concurrency scaling to support peak demand workloads during the daytime. NASDAQ receives up to 60 billion records every evening that gets processed and lands in S3 data lake. They use Redshift Spectrum to query this data directly against the lake in open file formats to get rapid insights. Warner Brothers is also a great example where they are leveraging many of our new features such as data sharing, where they moved an entire subsystem that was built on the data for copying, moving, and loading between Redshift clusters. And this is empowering all of their business teams to make decisions on the right data sets more quickly and efficiently. At Amazon, we listen to customers and work backwards to develop new features. Based on the tens of thousands of customers and receiving feedback, we're focused on 3 investment areas for Redshift. First is analyze all your data. So as we discussed in our previous slide, we'll continue to invest in our lakehouse architecture, where you can take advantage of real-time analytics or machine learning use cases without re-architecting or building additional ETL pipelines, because Redshift is fully integrated with your lake, as well as other purpose-built stores such as database and analytic services. Our second investment area is performance at scale. Redshift delivers up to 3x better price performance than any other cloud data warehouse. It's a self-tuning system that makes it faster and easier to get performance you need. Redshift scales to deliver constantly faster results from gigabytes to petabytes of data, and also from a few users to thousands of users as well. Scaling is also made simple. Concurrency scaling automatically deploys compute resources when needed to handle thousands of concurrent users' inquiries. Redshift is also built for the new scale with data features like Aqua, a new hardware accelerated cache that allows Redshift queries to run up to 10x faster than other enterprise cloud data warehouses by automatically boosting certain operations. Last is low cost and best value. Redshift provides great value as you scale your data warehouse, and you can start small at 25 cents per hour and pay only for what you use with predictable monthly costs. With options like reserved instances, you can save up to 75% compared to on-demand prices when you commit to using Amazon Redshift for a 1 or 3 year term, which also provides predictability in month-to-month costs. With RA3, you can scale and pay for storage and compute independently and get the optimal amount of storage and compute for diverse workloads. Redshift's pricing includes built-in security, encryption at rest and in transit, auditing capabilities, and help you achieve compliance with things like FedRAMP and HIPAA, and many others. You do not need to buy a premium version for additional enterprise capabilities, and it simply comes all with the Redshift from the start. Based on each of these investment pillars, we've launched over 50 major features over the past 12 months. Within our lakehouse investments, in addition to Spectrum, where you can query against the data lake, we launched major new features such as Redshift ML, data sharing, super data type, federated query, and partner console integration support, which provides tighter integration with different AWS services. We've also launched things like AWS Lambda UDF, an easy way to invoke a Lambda function using UDFs where you can integrate Redshift with outside data sources. For performance and scale, we continue to invest in our RA3 nodes. We launched the RA3 XL Plus, our smallest node type back at reInvent, a popular selection for customers that want to leverage new features such as data sharing to split workloads into multiple smaller workloads, but share the same data across clusters. The separation of compute and storage of RA3 is also enabling new innovations such as Aqua, our advanced query accelerator, as well as data sharing features. Finally, with low cost and best value, Automatic Workload Manager is updated to become even smarter for setting query priorities to get the best bang for your buck for your cluster. And Cross-AZ Cluster is another feature that is leveraging the RA3 technology, where customers can relocate to another AZ without any data loss. So let's dive deep into some of these new features. So first, let's take a look at our newest feature, Redshift ML. We've seen customers that want to use their data to enable new machine learning use cases such as product recommendations, fraud prevention, and reducing customer churn. However, in order to do this, customers need machine learning experts, or they need to learn machine learning on their own. They also need to build pipelines to move and transform their data, and also need to code in other languages such as Python or R in order to create and train models. Using Redshift ML, customers can now create, train, apply machine learning models using SQL. Customers can use a create model command and select appropriate columns to create and train a model easily. Behind the scenes, Amazon SageMaker Autopilot selects the most optimal machine learning algorithm based on your data. And finally, once the model is created, the model will be deployed locally in Redshift with optimized tuning using Amazon SageMaker Neo. And customers can run inferences as invoking a UDF as part of their SQL statement. And this can all be done using SQL statements within the Redshift environment. So next is data sharing. Customers have been asking us for easy ways to share data across multiple groups, but still enable workloads to be independent with one another and enable customers to charge back each group individually based on their usage. This means having different clusters, but also moving data between these different clusters. However, this could be cumbersome, prone to error, and customers may not always have the most up-to-date data. Data sharing provides instant, granular, and high-performance access without copying data. Customers can query live data constantly, updating views of data across all consumers. Data is shared securely and provides governed collaboration with fine-grained access from schema, database, tables, views, and user-defined functions. So this architecture is built on the RA3 and managed storage. And this opens up to various new use cases where you may have one ETL cluster that is producing data and have multiple consumers, such as sales, marketing, and support to view the same data. And this also enables bi-directional collaboration where each group shares data with one another. Since our launch, customers such as Yelp have been using data sharing as a new way for multiple teams to collaborate using the same live data without data duplication. In addition to sharing data between Redshift clusters, we will be supporting sharing data with the lake, where live data can be shared with different analytics services such as Amazon Athena and EMR in the future. Finally, data sharing is available within a single AWS account, and we are in preview for cross-account data sharing right now. The cross-account feature will also allow customers to share data not only within their company, but also across companies, opening up to new type of use cases. The next upcoming feature is native support for semi-structured data. We supported reading nested file formats using Redshift Spectrum against the S3 data lake, but we've also constantly received requests to query nested data such as JSON natively in Redshift. And we're excited to introduce a new data type, Super, that will support these nested data formats such as JSON. This will enable customers to ingest, store, and query nested data natively in Amazon Redshift. JSON formatted data can be stored in super columns, and this will make use cases such as operational analytics easier, where you'll get fast insights with the best performance using Redshift locally. The super data type can be queried through an easy-to-use SQL extension that is powered by Particle. And Particle is a language that makes it easy to efficiently query data regardless of the format of data. Customers such as Sony, Yelp, and LiveSense have been leveraging the super data type as a new way to do analytics locally within Redshift. Sony has mentioned how support of JSON natively has reduced their operational cost by 60% and also improved ingestion for semi-structured data without schema definition. The next area is federated queries. With Redshift Federated Query, customers can combine operational data that is stored in popular databases such as RDS and Aura PostgreSQL databases. And you can enrich your data by joining analytics data from your Redshift data warehouse together with both operational data in Aura and data in the S3 data lake. And this has helped customers to gain better insights with their customers, such as performing a customer 360 analysis to understand details about a customer's purchasing behavior. And we have RDS and Aura MySQL support as a preview right now, and we'll be launching shortly. This is another popular database engine that is commonly used among our customers. Next is native partner integration. Customers have asked us to accelerate their data onboarding and get up and running in minutes. They look to bring data from applications like Salesforce, Google Analytics, Facebook Ads, and Slack into their Redshift data warehouse in an efficient and streamlined way. With our new partner integration with the Redshift console, you can launch the partner integration wizard from the cluster detail page and select solution partners that have already integrated with our console. The integration will be at the cluster level and will provide you with values that show the integration status with our partners. Shown here on the left are some of the partners that are available today. And if you're a Redshift partner and would like to be integrated into the console, please reach out to us at the following email address and we'll be happy to collaborate together. Let's dive into our second investment area, price, performance, and scale. Redshift provides the best price performance at any scale. In particular, we've invested heavily over the past year for out-of-the-box performance. To show the advantage in price performance, our AWS benchmarking team did a comparison of our price performance with other cloud data warehouses for both out-of-the-box and tuning Redshift for a 3 terabyte benchmark using TPCDS datasets. You can check out the details of the benchmark that was performed in our December Big Data blog. And it also has a link to the queries and the data that is available on GitHub for anyone to see. The testing was done on our RA3 nodes. And together with managed storage and concurrency scaling, this has enabled customers to start small and grow to petabytes of workloads. Regardless of the dataset you have, our goal is to deliver the best price performance at any scale with predictable costs. And now you can use Aqua to boost your queries even further, what I'll talk about in later slides. Next is about automation. So Amazon Redshift continuously monitors user workloads and uses sophisticated algorithms to find ways to improve the physical layout of data to optimize query speeds and tune queries. By using automation to tune the cluster, customers can decrease administrative overheads for Amazon Redshift while getting the best possible performance. These automation features are optional, and if you prefer to have fine-grained access control over performance and tuning, you can continue to do so. Our new ATO, or Automatic Table Optimization feature, selects the best sort and distribution keys to optimize performance for the cluster's workload. And if Redshift determines that applying a key will improve performance, tables will be automatically altered without requiring administrative intervention. Additional features such as automatic vacuum delete, automatic table sort, automatic analyze, materialize views, auto refresh, and rewrite eliminate the need for manual maintenance and tuning of Redshift clusters to get the best performance. And we'll look more into details of the updates around Auto Workload Manager in later slides. The next is Aqua. So Aqua is a high-speed cache built on top of the Redshift managed storage layer that can scale out and process data in parallel across many Aqua nodes. It is a custom hardware for cloud data warehousing and analytics that includes AWS-designed custom ASIC and FPGA chips for the storage layer. And it allows us to process common operations like compression, encryption, large scans, filtering, and aggregations, orders of magnitude faster than what is possible in a general purpose CPU. In particular, Aqua will be the best in processing large amounts of data close to the storage layer, so less data needs to be moving over the network, avoiding the challenges with the network becoming the bottleneck for processing data at scale. Aqua is included with the RA3 4XL and RA3 16XL node types with no additional cost. And we've launched in 5 regions, including 2 US East regions, US West in Oregon, Europe in Ireland, and Asia Pacific in Tokyo. And we'll add additional support regions coming in the near future. So the next feature I wanted to talk about is Automatic Workload Manager, or WLM. Redshift customers run a complex mix of applications, all competing at once for the same database resources. So for example, data loading may compete with business critical dashboard queries, or high volume transactions jobs may compete with data science type of workloads. Each workload type has different resource needs, query latency expectations, and priorities. So the question is, how do we manage these expectations while optimizing cost and performance to your data warehouse? One approach to solve this problem is to simply add more resources, but this approach is problematic because it leads to unpredictable spend and high invoices. So really, Redshift Auto WLM is a solution for these type of pain points. Redshift WLM helps users maximize query throughput and get consistent performance for the most demanding analytics workloads, while still optimizing the resources that you're already paying for. You can manually set WLM queues or use the Auto WLM feature to have Redshift determine the priorities of your queues. This year, we enhanced WLM using machine learning to predict the number of resources a query will need, which means we can pack even more queries into the same system. And we made enhancements especially to SQA, or short query acceleration. So while detecting short queries, turbo boost mode is automatically activated when queues build up, and waiting for queries do not require a lot of resources anymore. This allows for more consistent query performance for all queries regardless of their priority, as well as more efficient utilization of resources overall. The last feature I wanted to talk about is Data API. So Data API enables you to access Amazon Redshift using web service-based application. It simplifies the data access from languages such as Python, Go, Java, Node.js, and others. And you can access Amazon Redshift easily from AWS Lambda, AWS Cloud9, as well as other AWS services. And you can also easily load into and unload data from Redshift using the Data API. The Data API enables you to focus on building your applications without worrying about configuring drivers, managing database connections or pools, and instead you can issue SQL commands against a Redshift cluster by simply invoking an HTTPS API endpoint provided by the Data API. The Data API takes care of managing database connections and returning data. And today we have more than 5,000 customers that are using Data API as of today. So if you want to learn more about the new features, please join us at our AWS What's Next session on May 21st. What's Next is a regular AWS live stream for launches. The team invites engineers and product managers to talk about and demo the latest announcement. This week, we're dedicated the entire What's Next to Redshift, and we'll go into depth on several of the new features we discussed today and do demos. Please join us, and all you have to do is tune in to Twitch at noon Pacific time on Friday. So today we covered more than a dozen new features and updates with Redshift. We're really looking forward to receiving feedback on these new features as you start testing them out. And it's really still day one for Redshift, and we'll continue to innovate fast and add new features around the key investments that we talked about today. And we'll work backwards from customers and add new features as we learn further. So for next steps, I've left a couple useful links here. Whether you're already using Redshift or just getting started, please contact us and feel free to request help if you have any questions. Thank you for joining today's session.